Hey everybody, this is Eric from the Artistic Off-Road YouTube channel. Today we're in Anza-Borrego Desert State Park and we're headed up a wash for a couple of nights of camping and off-road discovery. Come along with us for this adventure. But first we're gonna air down. Getting out of the car here and we're gonna head across the plain here where that raptor is flying in the sky, and then up a canyon and see what the day brings us. So it's almost about lunchtime, so let's take a look at what we have here. There's no trail out here, so we're just gonna kind of head straight across the desert. And in order to remember where we're going, we actually use Strava as a way to kind of retrace our steps if we get off track. You gotta watch out for the desert cholla here. These are probably the most dangerous plants. They are a pain to extract once they sink their hooked barbs into your leg. So I think it rained about an inch out here the past couple of days. And then the past couple of weeks, there's been some other storms that have passed through. All these ocotillos are currently absorbing all that moisture. Probably in a couple of days, they're gonna start throwing out green leaves and then eventually those red flowers. Look at these huge, fat barrel cacti. There's another one over there, another one right there. There's a couple of different kinds of cholla out here. The more dangerous kind are these teddy bear chollas, and they drop these little cholla balls here, which I'm definitely not gonna touch because I'll never get rid of it. This one recently flowered, you can see, but they're quite beautiful. And then we have these hedgehog cactus, and we have some agave here. This right here is an ironwood tree. Those are really cool. And of course, the famed ocotillo that grew up to about 20 feet tall. You can see this one recently flowered and has lost its leaves since. And of course we have our creosote plants right here. So this is a pretty good sized creosote, maybe about 15 feet tall. The canyon that we're headed up actually, it has a bighorn guzzler up there, which is, I believe, a spring-fed trough created by like the Park Service people and things like that. Maybe we'll get a chance to see the bighorn sheep feeding at the trough. Alice already got a cholla stuck on her sock, but not in her leg. This right here though, is that not from the cholla last time we were here?
Yep.
Even if you're watching out for the cholla, they'll still get you. So this is obviously not the kind of hike you want to do in the middle of summer, but in the fall, when it cools down, or in the winter, which we are nearing in on, the weather out here is really perfect. And of course, there's no one else out here, which is what makes this even more special. So even though the canyon that we're trying to get to is only about a mile as the crow flies from where we parked, it could be more like 2 miles because you have to do all sorts of twists and turns and ups and overs around ravines and washes and around the plants and all that. So you can see here, this ocotillo is coming back to life here. You can see all the leaves popping out. Probably in a couple of days, this whole thing is gonna be filled with greenery. And then shortly after that, probably some red flowers. You can also see there's a lot more paw prints or hoof prints or whatever they are, animal tracks. So clearly animals are using this as a way to navigate down into the valley below. So you can definitely see the outline of the bighorn sheep hooves. You can hear the two front. So they're coming up and down this way. They're probably hanging out on these hills somewhere. Be a lucky day to see them. All right guys, we made it to the main wash that we're headed up. It must have been absolutely incredible when the rain came a couple days ago to watch the water gushing through this channel. You can imagine how much water it would take to move boulders of that size there. You can see the fresh erosion here, so it's kind of just falling off the side of that ravine wall. We're just about at the mouth of the canyon here. You can see it's gonna narrow in just a little bit farther up. We'll enter the throat, and then somewhere up there is that bighorn guzzler. All right guys, it's lunchtime. Let's see what's for lunch here. We got hummus, bell pepper, pickle, sun-dried tomatoes on Dutch bread. That was absolutely delicious, but we're curious to see what's up around the bend here. So we're gonna go up, continue our hike. Check this out, this little tiny rock here is holding up this entire side of that boulder. There's our first juniper. You don't expect that out here in this extremely dry and hot desert, but that goes to show the conditions of this area and the abundance of water that flows through here. Still got some water flowing right here. We're almost at the dry fall. Check out all these eroded holes. Definitely some birds living in there and making their nest. All right guys, we have about a mile to go until we get to the guzzler. The scenery up here is absolutely spectacular. All it takes is a little bit of elevation, a little bit more shade, a little more seclusion. You have really a desert wonderland. We figure it's gonna take us a little bit less than 2.5 hours to get back, but the sun starts going down around 4:45. We definitely don't want to be hiking through those cholla forests that late at night, especially in the dark. So we're gonna hike for 10 more minutes, see if we can get to the guzzler. If not, we might have to call it a day. So we only have about 1,000 feet to get to the spring, but the trail is getting a little bit gnarly here. Our hearts are pounding like mad because we're hauling up this canyon. That section back there was a little bit rough. A lot of scrambling and route finding. Must be up there. Went up the wrong wash. There's a V and it breaks over to the left over here. It's right up there somewhere in that canyon, but I really don't know. And we have a 3-hour hike to get back. Hey, check it out. There's the water tanks. Looks like there's 2, maybe 10,000 gallon tanks up here. Let's see if there's any sheep. Oh, I'm exhausted. My heart is pounding 130 beats per minute. Look at that, there's some water coming down the creek, or canyon, whatever you want to call it. There's the tanks right there. Pretty cool. Definitely a hard hike. Check out the piping, comes all the way down the canyon and into this tank here. It's even leaking. Let's take a look. Oh, that is so satisfying. Oh, yes, I bet the animals love that leak in the pipe. Cool. I really wonder what this was here for. I mean, like, obviously probably to support the bighorn population, but I wonder if there was at some point like some kind of habitation that people had up here. Oh, look at this. That's cool. That is well deserved. Yes. I don't think the bighorn are using that though. The bighorn are definitely not using this. Not able to get in there. Hey, there's a trail cam over there. Oh, here's the guzzler. Here it is. Here's the animal guzzler right here. And all the bees. And the trail cam. Very cool. So we got some bones up here. Looks like there's a... Ooh! Oops, there it goes. Looks like it's a vertebrae for some kind of critter. Maybe a bighorn sheep. Another one over here. What a fantastic hike. We're gonna head back down and look for a place to camp tonight, cook up some good food. My guess is that guzzler is absolutely critical for the survival and procreation of the bighorn sheep population, probably, and also many of the other desert animals. All right, guys, we are back. It's been about 5 hours and 8 or so miles. So we're gonna go look for a camp spot for the night, get settled in. All right, the sun is going down and it's time to set up the trail camp. So we're gonna set it up here. The animals out here tend to live under the creosote plants or the other bushes. They make these little holes. Most of the animals out here probably are kangaroo rat, but this hole is looking pretty big. So if they're out here, they'll probably be running around this general area. Let's see what we find out in the morning. All right, tonight is burger night in the Anza-Borrego Desert. We have our pre-cooked potatoes, brioche buns, and the cast iron skillet. Just some delicious chuck brisket and sirloin 3rd pound beef patties. We don't normally watch movies before we go to bed while we're camping, but we get reception tonight, so. Good morning, everybody. The sun is gonna rise pretty soon. We've been in the Jeep for about 10 hours since about 7:30. It's about 6. I'm gonna walk over here and check on the trail cam, see if we got any footage of any live critters last night. To be honest, I don't even know where I put the darn thing. I see it. It's right behind this bush over here. There it is. All right. The critters didn't take my camera. It's really moist. That's one thing that was really weird last night was that the air, I don't know if it was because of the recent rains, but the air turned really moist. And so everything was wet outside of the Jeep, but not inside. Let's go ahead and play back here. Let's see what we got. Now, there we go, replay. Oh, there's 20. Oh, the screen's all foggy though. You know, I don't think we got anything on here. Nah, it's me setting it up. Got some old shots on here. All right, folks, we are pretty much all packed up. We're gonna take off. We're gonna head out down southeast. It's looking like a gorgeous day. It's already warm. It's about 8:30. It's gonna be a really fun adventure. Time to find the next spot. So it's not uncommon to see tarantulas crossing the road when you're driving out in the desert in middle of November. 30 seconds earlier, and that guy would have been smushed. So there are a lot of native California palms in Anza-Borrego, and we're gonna head up a canyon right now that has its own little grove. We're gonna get out here and check out what this sign says. Aha, El Torote, the elephant tree. The arid desert climate has created a curious shrub, El Torote in Spanish. More common in Mexico, elephant trees only grow on well-drained rocky slopes where nighttime temperatures stay warm. El Torote Canyon provides exactly those conditions. So we're gonna hike up this direction into the canyon, hopefully see some of these elephant trees. It says the elephant tree's appearance is as distinctive as the name implies. The plant's main trunk is massive when compared to tiny leaves and spindly upper branches. And apparently there are dozens of elephant trees up here. So I'll share with you a factoid about hiking in the desert. If you breathe through your mouth, you're gonna lose more moisture than if you breathe through your nose. You can really feel the difference in temperature out here. We're in the southeast portion of the park and about 600 feet lower than we were last night when we were camping. And even though it's about 64 degrees out here, it sure feels a lot hotter. And a lot of that has to do with the radiant heat bouncing off the rocks. You can only imagine what it would feel like if you were hiking out here in the summer. Alice pointed out the first elephant tree on the trail. You can see the waxy-like trunk and the much smoother bark than the ironwoods and not quite as gray. And then here are the fern-like leaves, and this one has little bulbs. So apparently if you pull the bark off of the elephant tree, underneath there's a red sap, and the shaman, the Cahuilla shaman, that was the tribe that lived out here, would use the red sap to heal wounds. Imagine people living up here had a lot of wounds in this very rough and prickly terrain. And if you look on this side of the mountain there, you can see a whole forest of choyas. So you can feel the terrain changing a little bit, even though we really haven't gone all that far. Probably because it's a little bit darker, a little shadier, a little bit cooler, and a whole lot more water. I see something common in the desert that is not natural, is man-made, and that is the Mylar balloon. I'm gonna go ahead and pick this one up. This thing has probably floated here from hundreds of miles away. And for some reason, they always seem to land in the desert. Make sure there's no scorpions in there. I think we're good. Mylar balloon number 2. So we're gonna climb up this little hill here to go check out an elephant tree. This one seems to be a little bit bigger than the others in this area. So the trunk should match up more with what we think of as a elephant tree trunk. But definitely not the biggest of all the species here in Anza-Borrego Desert State Park. Here it is. Let's see that trunk there. And that's what gives its name to this beautiful tree. You can see that papery bark. It's very waxy underneath. And so many of these little branches coming out of that main trunk. And here is a view from the top of El Torote Wash. All right, my Gaia app says that this right here is the end of a trail. It does look like a good place to turn around. All right, we're back from our adventure. Now we're gonna head up the canyon and see what the day brings. Another Mylar balloon. Today must be our lucky day. It's gold. We've reached the end of the road and we're gonna head up. There's a canyon here with some native California palms in probably one of the lesser visited places in Anza-Borrego Desert State Park. So we got a couple of small native California palms here. Right up there, there's a pretty good sized one. Head up that way. This is a potsherd. You can see the flat nature of it. It's been smoothed out. And there's one in there too. I'm not gonna grab that one. But there's probably lots of other potsherds. Obviously people are living up here where there's palms, there's water. And when there's water, there's life. So as you can see here, modern man has used this area. There's a cement channel that's been made so that water drains down in this direction. There must be a dam down there somewhere, but you can definitely smell the moisture. There's a kind of this weird dank smell emanating from here. Actually, here you go, check this out. That must be part of the dam. This must have been where the water collected, because clearly they've used these rocks and then put cement on them to kind of create some kind of bowl here. Check out this tree. All right, folks, it's lunchtime with a beautiful view looking back toward the Borrego Badlands way off in the distance. Nice little rock shelter here. You can see blackened walls. Clearly someone would be able to, a couple people will lay down in here out of the sun and rain and wind. Look at this. What do you guys think? Natural divot or a mortero? I think a mortero. Look how the sides are worn down. And there up there looks like a grinding stone. Somewhere they would have, like, you know, smoothed out a rock. But we saw some potsherds up there. Let's look around here, see if we can find anything else. So the native people has probably brought their pots up here to go either collect water or collect seeds, maybe from the palm trees, and then came back to that grinding stone there and ground up the seeds. And then one sad day, that person probably dropped their pot. All right, guys, let's see how good your eyesight is. Do you see the other grinding slicks? That's right. There's one right there on that rock, and it looks like there's one right there on this other rock here. Let's go take a look at it. Oh yeah. You can see, not necessarily mortero, but maybe somewhere they ground in a wider circle or something like that. And over here, you got some little tinaja with some water left in it. And over here, Actually, there's a couple. Another grinding slick here. Another one right here. And one right here. Lots of them. So they'd sit on these rocks, grind up the seeds from the trees and whatever else they found up there, and maybe even retreat in that rock shelter. So the more you travel around Anza-Borrego Desert State Park, the more you realize how extensively this area was inhabited by the native Cahuilla people hundreds, thousands of years ago. The spot that we were just at that Palm Canyon, was one example. And actually right now we're going to another spot just over here near this rock. So let's go check it out. Traveling around these places, you always have to wonder, what was it about this particular location, right? Sometimes these locations aren't near any water. They're in areas that seem otherwise unhospitable to humankind. So what is it about this particular rock here that has significance to those native people? Obviously, they could have chosen a place with water, more shade, higher up, more trees, but they chose here. Maybe if we could sit here for a while, we'll be able to contemplate why this area was so important to them. As you can see, there's a lot of fire blackened rock here. That's all from just years and years of smoke accumulation, the soot hitting the ceiling. So let me ask you, why do you think this particular spot was important to the native peoples? Let me give you a view of what it looks like from inside the cave. So people would have sat right here looking outward. We were just about 20 minutes ago, just under that large peak there. You can see there's kind of a low mound to the left, and that's where the Palm Canyon is. Then we drove back down this road. So people are sitting here observing. So let me show you an outside view of this cave and give you a general perspective of the area. Here's the cave rock. That's where we came from earlier. And there's another Palm Canyon up this way. Let's go have a look around the backside of this rock. Oh, look at this. Check this out. How fascinating. So can you see what these are here? You can see there's still water inside of these holes. So people would have gone up into the mountains, brought back pinyon pines or other kind of seeds and whatnot, and ground them here in these holes, and then gone into the cave, maybe done some cooking. But it's interesting how much water is actually collected here on this rock. Looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7. This rock down here is a slab that fell off from this main rock. You can also see over here that there was fire in this part of the cave too. Like right here. So someone had a fire going, maybe during a cold winter day. Sat here, ground their stones, kept out of the snow, kept out of the rain. All right, we're at our last stop of the day. There's another palm grove right up over here. So you can really feel how lush and moist this canyon is, especially in comparison to the one that we were at. You can see here, there are several more palm trees, but definitely more habitable, probably a lot more water, probably more signs of the native peoples, the Cahuilla, who lived here. So we're gonna go in here and take a look, and then we're gonna head back down and set up camp somewhere along the way. So those palms right there in the middle probably were scorched by fire and were never able to recover. But these ones, they may have also been here at the time this fire came through, but were able to regrow. Check out this incredible landscape. You know, there's something really special about evening time and morning in the desert, the way the light hits the rocks, the way the animals come out. Because in the middle of the day, they tend to go to sleep, enter back into their holes. But if you sit here for a second and feel, you can hear the crickets, there's a breeze, Absolutely gorgeous. We have found our camp spot for the night, but first we're gonna head out to those boulders across the way and do one last walk and explore the area. Mylar balloon number 4. Over here across from that cave, checking out this rock outcropping, because I figured maybe this is kind of like a central point. It would be a good area to like signal people through the valley. And I think it is. Check this out. We found a Mortero here. And another one over here. If you look closely, you can see how much this area has been eroded. If you look down here, look at that. It's almost like people have like purposely pulled up all the plants or like trampled this area. So my first sense is that this was a heavily used spot. And I think the Morteros confirmed that at least it was used in some manner. We're gonna keep looking around, see what else we can find. Another discovery. Check this out. Would you have recognized this? Notice how different this piece of rock looks. This is a fairly large potsherd. It's been blackened. Really cool discovery. Just sitting right here, which is where we'll leave it. Never to be found again. That potsherd that we found there probably like flowed down after heavy rains down this little ravine here. And I was like, there's probably others. And then of course, here's another piece right here. This may not be from the same pot, but it might be. It's pretty dark. You're right there. There's something really fascinating about being up in these spots and finding Morteros and potsherds and just seeing that people lived here in this really harsh environment. All right, guys, we are back at camp after an adventurous day. It's time to set things up, get ready for a hearty home-cooked meal, and then take it easy until tomorrow. Good morning, everybody. It's about 6:30 a.m. The sun is just starting to hit the peaks behind me. Got my coffee made, and it's going to be a beautiful day. We're all packed up, so we're going to hit the road.